Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be looking at another replay review from Dylan, Dagon in Game. You probably recognize him. He's on the channel a lot. He's a member. Wonderful guy. We're going to be looking at Lulu, a Silver 3 game today. So thank you very much, Dylan. As always, we always appreciate your very generous donations. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. Now, I've done several reviews for Dylan before, so he's probably going to know the basic drill. Aim for one control ward every 5 minutes, one normal ward per minute on average. I think he's pretty close to that. Maybe get a couple more control wards in there if you can, but overall, it's pretty good. As far as runes for Lulu, standard, I like Armor, HP, AP, which is what you have, which is good. Something you might consider in the specific matchup against Karma would be switching the 9 AP out for blues for your magic resist. That's probably going to be more effective overall because she's going to most likely harass you a lot back in lane, and I think this is going to give you better overall trades to have 9 magic resist rather than 9 AP. Lulu doesn't have great AP conversion rates. I think on her Q, it's a 0.6. It might be a 0.7. Let me look really quick. And I'm pretty sure her offensive E is a 0.5. So she doesn't have amazing AP ratios to begin with. It's a 0.5 actually on her Q. And it's a 0.4 on her E. So yeah, she has pretty bad AP ratios. It's a 0.5 on her ult. So AP is obviously, a good stat on her, but it's not as good on her as it is on someone like Janna, because Janna has a 0.7 on her shield. And like a 1.5 or something on her ult. I can't remember. I'd have to look at Janna specifically. But anyways, AP, still good. You still want it a lot of time, but if you're against another AP caster, then it's probably a good idea to switch up to Magic Resist if you have them. Veteran Scars might also be good here if you want to get really aggressive early on. Having that extra 50 HP is a big deal. You're not going to be healing and shielding yourself that much early on, so getting the healing, shielding mastery here, Runic Armor, is not that great because it's only on you. It's not on other people. But overall, that's pretty good. A combo which I've tried out a couple of times, which I actually like quite a bit if you can get aggressive early on, is Thunderlords plus Ignite. And the reason for this, if you have enough power, and you might with Cog, depending on how Cog plays the lane, the reason for this is that plus healing and shielding is not awesome on Lulu. It's okay, but it's not as good as it is on someone like Janna or Sona, and the reason is that your only thing that's going to be affected by that is your picks. It doesn't affect your ult at all, and obviously it doesn't affect your other abilities, because this is an infusion of health. It's not an actual heal. So it gets around Ignite, it gets around Executioners and Grievous Wounds, but it doesn't benefit at all from plus healing and shielding. So she has very, very mild scaling with plus healing and shielding. So obviously it doesn't mean you want to avoid the stat altogether, but she does have a very easy way to trigger Thunderlords early on, and it just might be worth it because she can get aggressive early on, especially with Coin giving you a lot more mana than like Lulu's problem previously was she just didn't have enough mana to do a lot of harass early, but Coin does give you a bit more mana early on than the old school Spell Thieves. So it's something to consider, because all you have to do is just E, auto, Q, and it'll take off like a third to half of their health early on. It's very, very powerful. I mean, the base damage on her is pretty high. If we look at her E is 80 damage, and her Q is also 80 damage. So that's quite a bit, level 1 to 3 damage that you can do. Also, with Polymorph, that makes it very difficult to trade back against you. So Lulu's pretty aggressive early on, as long as you're not against a healer, and Karma's not a healer. She can heal herself, but she can't really heal Varus. And especially if you want to go with Thene's Unholy Grail early, which is what I recommend, this could also be good, because then you're not stacking your plus healing and shielding as much. You're not getting redemption second, you're going to get it third. So, the Wind Speakers is still good, but you might consider Thunderward Ignite in this scenario. If you go in Thunderwards, you might as well go Ignite for early pressure. That will kind of open you up a little bit later on against Olaf if he gets really far ahead and is trying to, you know, dive onto the Kog'Maw if you don't have exhaust. But I think it'd probably be worth it to give it a try here. Okay. And you want to max your W first now. I see that you're maxing shield. This is kind of an old school build that I had advocated in the past, but this is before they nerfed the shield. It used to do 240 shield, and now it only does 210. So overall, that's pretty weak when you compare it to something like Whimsy, where you get a lower cooldown, you get higher attack speed, it lasts for longer, and you get a longer polymorph duration. Going from 1.25 to 2.25, which is a huge difference, adding an extra second of crowd control, which is light years in league time. So I think having that Whimsy is going to be much, much stronger, especially getting that 45% speed on Kog'Maw is a very big deal. So I would go 1 or 2 points in Q and lane, depending on how aggressive you want to get, and then max Whimsy and then max shield after that. Okay, and since you're maxing your shield second also, that gives you even more incentive. If you want to do that, that would give you even more incentive to move towards Thunderlords from Wind Speakers, because your shield's not going to be that big anyways. Okay, I mean, shield is basically, like, you want to think of Lulu. She's not necessarily a healer shielder like a Sona or a Soraka or a Janna. She's more like a debuffer, like a buffer debuffer type of champion. Yeah, it's like, yeah, she has a shield, but that's not really the strongest part of her kit. The strongest part of her kit is her W, her Whimsy, because it's arguably like the most powerful. It's one of the most powerful and versatile crowd control abilities / buff abilities in the whole game. So it's really, really strong, and you want that, you know, max level as soon as you can. You want the uptime on that to be huge. I mean, you can't quite get to permanent uptime on an ally. It's 4 seconds. You can get the cooldown down to like 6.5 seconds or so. So you'll have like 2 seconds where it's not going to be up, but you can have it almost permanently up on Kog'Maw, which would be amazing. So that's something I would think about. Especially in an era of Ardent Sensor that we're in right now, you know, having Ardent Sensor on top of Whimsy's W on top of Pix is massive. So remember, like, you get this 45% on hit. Kog'Maw's on hit is already huge. He gets a lot of on hit effects. He'll get Wit's End. Typically, he'll get sometimes he'll get Blade of the Ruined King. He'll get Ginsu's, and then of course you have his own W that does like max % health damage, which is huge on every attack. And so attack speed is the best possible stat you can get on Kog'Maw typically. So giving that to him over and over again on a much lower cooldown and having the duration increased is pretty massive. And don't forget also, when you shield somebody, you also put picks on them. So, you know, in the mid game when you're level 11 and you've got your Ardent, Athenes, and just your runes for the extra AP, you're going to have about 200 or so AP. Maybe not quite that much, but it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood. And that means that you're going to be doing 11 plus 30, it'd be 105 damage on hit. So obviously the more attack speed someone has, the more damage you're going to be dealing when you put the picks on somebody. So you picks them, you picks Kog'Maw, you Whimsy him, and then it's just off to the races. He gets 45 attack speed, he gets a lot of movement speed, so he can run people down, he can kite people, which means he has more uptime on his auto attacks. So he doesn't have to waste as much time repositioning. And he's doing this extra, you know, 105 damage on hit. So that's really kind of your powerhouse combo that you want to be going for. And it triggers Ardent on him, which gives him even more on-hit healing, on-hit damage, and attack speed. So that means you'd be contributing, 45 plus Ardent's 25. You'd be giving him about 70% attack speed. So pretty big steroid. So that is kind of how I would approach the Cog Lulu right now, is just recognize you're going to get Ardent Sensor really early, and then make sure that you max Whimsy so that those two synergize together so well, especially with Cog's kit, that's really where you want to be. Okay, so if we look at pregame here, It looks pretty good overall. I mean, this is kind of a 50-50 lane. I think you could be ahead if you want to be really aggressive, but you also outscale them later. So I think your side is favored later in the game, definitely. But early game, it kind of depends on what Karma does and what you do, how you decide to play it. They're probably favored with Orianna, but Orianna is much harder to execute than Morgana is. You can make a lot more mistakes on Orianna than you can with Morg. You're probably favored in the jungle. Olaf's kind of out of meta right now. Gragas can be very powerful. And this is sort of a toss-up. Pantheon's going to have the advantage early, especially if Gragas ganks for him. But Cho'Gath's going to be much stronger later. So, you know, I think you can get aggressive in this lane, but you can also push farm if you want, just depending on how you want to play it, what your Kog'Maw's doing. Now, I said be sure to exhaust the Olaf because you took exhaust. Ignite, once again, could be better for early game damage. Yeah, just make sure you're getting that Whimsy on Cog, because you can't remember you can't polymorph Olaf when he has his ult on. So the next best thing is to Whimsy Cog so that he can run away. And just in general in this lineup, you probably just want to be Whimsy and Cog the whole time. You know, it's not going to matter if you polymorph Cho'Gath or Olaf that much, or Orianna. You're not going to be able to reach Varus most of the time probably. So just buffing up Kog'Maw is probably your best deal. Just crank it out on him. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here.
Summoner's Rift. 30 seconds until minions spawn.
And you want to get Q first here. Helps you push the lane. Nice, yep. Attack the way a little bit. Looks like you've decided to play it sort of the passive farm, which is okay. I think you could get more aggressive here, though, and push this wave. And what's Karma rolling with here? She's only got 24 AP. I mean, that's pretty standard. She has magic resist runes. I would at least, even if you're going to do this kind of passive farm style, okay, good. Even if you're going to do this passive farm style, I would still probably... Okay, good. Your team's head. Uh-oh. Where'd that... Oh, mid lane. Okay, and then make a comeback. Alright. So keep mental note of that. Who's ahead? I think Gragas just got a couple of kills. Or Olaf did, rather. So he's going to be strong when you see him again, so just be careful, bot. Yeah, you really shouldn't be getting pushed in this lane. I mean, Karma does push pretty well, but what you want to be doing with your Q at least is just push. Yeah, Whimsy him. There you go. Don't be afraid to use your Q on the minions. So, like, when they come rolling up, just use your Q and it'll just go right through the minions. It really is not going to damage them that much, but Lulu is one of the champions with better wave clear than a lot of other supports. They have nerfed it over time, but it's still pretty good. Because it can hit everybody pretty easily. When the minions come down the lane, you just throw it and it goes through all of them. So you can push it in. You just have to be aware that that will draw the attention of Olaf, but that'll keep him off top lane, and your top lane is going to need some help. I mean, yeah, he's getting massacred. That lane's probably done. Which is about what I expected. I mean, I said it depends on how well Pantheon does early, and the answer to that is not very. So, Pantheon's an extremely risky linear champion. Either he's doing very well and he's borderline oppressive, or he falls behind early and just never catches up. Yeah, your Cog really can't get up there that close, and part of this is You're not giving him a lot of fire cover against Karma. So he's probably falling behind. Yeah, he's behind. And I mean, to be fair, he's not getting super aggressive either. Right? But I think that... Does Karma have Ignite? She has Exhaust also. I don't know. I feel like you can be bullying these guys up a bit more. I mean, your mana is low right now. Exhaust? Okay. If you push up also, another bonus is that you get to ward this bush, so that potentially doesn't happen to you as easily. Definitely Sightstone here. After you get your gold item upgraded, of course. I wouldn't rush Ardent in this case. Olaf's just too big. And you need to keep eyes on both him for ganking your lane and on Dragon. Okay. Alright, good. And you got your pink. Alright, let me go back here. That was a lot of stuff going on. Let me just see what you could have done better here, because there's obviously something when there's that many things going on. Let's see. Okay, so a big one would be y'all need to back up once there's 6. There's 6 right here. Like, you see there's 6. And you're 5. You might need to even just step in and take that hit for him. It's because you're full health and he's half health. Yeah, I think once Karma lands that snare, you need to walk up and polymorph Varus immediately. Let me slow us down. What all do you... Let me see your cooldowns. I don't know if that's probably not gonna be accurate. Polymorpher if you can. Okay. Spread, yeah, you gotta spread out to look out for her ult, because you know she wants to do that. And what did you polymorph? You polymorphed something. Let's just watch it full time here. Okay, you shielded more. Like, you should have put that on Orianna. The damage on Orianna, and you could have probably killed her. Somebody should have been polymorphed in there. I think you're using your shield a little too defensively, especially leveling it. Like, you could be using it to do more damage at that point. The big one, though, like, absolutely, unequivocally, y'all should not be up threatening them in lane when they're level 6 and you're not. It's not like they just hit it off the minions and you just weren't paying attention, like, or you weren't, like, ready for them to hit it. Like, they were already 6, you know what I'm saying? So, you gotta respect that. And if that means you're getting zoned, that means you're getting zoned. So just tell your jungler, say, something like, you know, come help me out, we're getting zoned, we're level 6, or just, like, go over here and take some golems or something. Rotate mid lane. just start pushing it. That'll force top lane to end that and start pushing your bot lane. To just show up there and just hit a couple of, just push it in, help them push it in, and then rotate back down bottom. Or just tower race them. But yeah, you can't just walk up in lane when they're both 6 like that. Because of what happened, like Karma is going to be able to lock you down, and then Varus can chain CC, and that's not going to be good.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
Well, he stole dragons, that's good. Alright, looks like you're starting to switch over to Sightstone, which is good. Okay, so everyone on their team's pretty huge right now. Fortunately, their items aren't that big, though. Cho kind of wasted his power on his Easy Rock Portal top. Olaf doesn't have a lot yet. Varus doesn't have too much yet. Your team's not that far behind in CS, so... Oh, excuse me. Like, they're behind, but it's not as bad as this looks. Or you're behind, but it's not as bad as it looks. Just gonna say... I'll wait till this is done. You should have him whimsied. I'm not sure if you did or not. But you should have your W on Cog. It looked like he wasn't attacking fast enough. I mean, let me see. Let me go back a little bit here. Maybe you did and I didn't see it. What happened here? Okay, so I assume you have Polymorph up. Yeah, right there. Double buff him. Double buff him. Do you have him whimsied? I can't tell. You W. Okay, I think you... I can't tell with that skin. If you did W him... Oh, I can go back and look. I forgot. We have magic here. Let me see. One more time and then we'll move on. Okay, you got your E on him. Yeah, ult him. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you did whimsy him. It's just, it's level 1 whimsy. So that's the thing. If you had it higher level whimsy, he would have had the buff longer, and he would have had faster attack speed. So he may have gotten off 1 or 2 of those. You should have done that much faster. As soon as he starts attacking her, and he uses his W, you need to put it on him. Like your option, once he turns on his W and you hear him go rah or whatever his little noises that he makes with that skin. You need to put whimsy on him immediately. Or you can walk up and polymorph Orianna, one of the two, but gotta be a little quicker on the draw there. Yeah, y'all need to back up. Okay, so I'm gonna say... Yeah, run. What are your items? Okay, you haven't been back yet, I assume, because you've been holding this. You are gonna have to let this go. Yeah, just back up. You can't be the one on the front line. Like you're too close. I know you're trying to wave clear it, but you gotta keep, it's gone. Like, you're not gonna save it. Okay, this is probably gonna turn out well. They have a lot of power, but they don't have a lot of strong items right now. But they're still strong enough. So you want to stay back more in team fights. This is something that it takes a little while to master. This is something we've talked about in some other videos too, is I think sometimes you want to be a little closer to the action than you probably should be. You've got to switch modes in team fights, especially against a team that's this far ahead. Like I said, they don't have a lot of powerful items, surprisingly, yet. So they're not up a ton on you guys just yet. Like, Cho has squandered a lot of his lead on a ZZ Rot, which doesn't... It's not very impactful in combat. You know, Olaf's only up, like, half an item defensively. Oriana's got some pretty good stuff going on. Just really, once Cog completes his Gensus, I think he can keep up with Varus until Varus completes his Infinity Edge. So, I mean, they're ahead of you, but it's still not insurmountable. But you still have to respect that they are ahead, right? And so that means you need to stay back. Like, do not try to hit them offensively with Whimsy. One of the cool things about Lulu, keep in mind, like, her range on her E and Whimsy are... He's pinging himself that he just basically suicided. Is that you can throw Whimsy off of other people. So just put your shield... I assume you're probably typing to him there. I could understand why you would be frustrated there. But if you're gonna type... You know, I'm all... You know, as you know from watching the channel, I think sometimes you have to type. Sometimes you have to talk that Pantheon off the ledge. But if you're gonna do it, you need to back up more where they're not gonna hit you. So you need to back up past the tower more. But yeah, you can actually cast your Q off of other people. So just put your E on, if you have an E on him. So just put your shield on, like Gragas, when he goes in, and then you can use your Q and hit them off of the Gragas, if that makes sense. So you put your shield on Gragas, he belly slams in, and then you're still hanging out really far in the back near your AD carry, and then you can press Q in the direction that you want it to go, and it'll fire off of picks on the person. It fires off of you one bolt, and it fires off of him one bolt on picks. But you can't hit with both bolts anyways, only one bolt counts. So that's kind of an advanced tactic with Lulu that haven't really seen you leverage that much. Like, yeah, you can put it on him right here. There you go. Now, cast Q off of him. Cast Q off him. Right there, you can do it. That's the opportunity there. Where if you put your E on him right there, then you... When he gets close, you can actually cast your Q and it'll fire off of him and hit that slow on her and damage her. But even if you only have 1 point in it, which I assume you do, it's not going to do a lot of damage, but it will slow him by 80%. Briefly. So that would allow Pantheon to catch her. Okay, everything on Cog. Whimsy, E, everything. There you go. Kog'Maw can almost single-handedly win this game for you with his power. Did he finally get his item? Yeah, he finally got Ginsu's. Once he gets this item, it's on. Alright, good. What do you have? You got Sightstone? Okay, you have Sightstone Art. Okay, good. Now, I would actually go for Athene's right here. It's going to give you extra healing when you shield people. Yeah. I might be able to just take that, but... Yeah, just push the wave up. I guess that's fine. Cog should probably get a, I'd probably get a Wit's End here. He'll probably get Hurricane or something. Wit's End is so obscenely powerful on Kog'Maw, though. Yeah, you got Hurricane. I think Wits is better than Hurricane, but it's fine. That does allow him... I mean, Hurricane is very, very good with Ardent Sensor, because that does allow him to proc multiple procs and heal himself up on waves, especially when you're trying to siege against, like, a Karma. So, I mean, Hurricane's fine. Wit's End is higher, single target damage, a lot higher, but Hurricane's pretty good. Yeah, there you go. Let him kite back. Ooh. There you go. Yeah, good. I mean, Kog'Maw's really strong right now. As a champion, I know you were probably, if you didn't watch my game from September 1st, you definitely should on stream. We won 3v5, and this Kog'Maw team was trolling and went like 1-12, and then eventually he just decided to just come and like auto attack at least, and still took over the game. Just because he's Kog'Maw, he just right click. Especially next patch when they're going to nerf Tristana and Callista. Kog'Maw's definitely up there with like Twitch, I think. He's just so difficult to deal with. Going Infinity Edge. Okay. Seems really weird. I mean, if you go in Hurricane, you gotta go Bork, right? Because Bork applies... Hurricane applies Bork procs as well. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, the thing about Cog, you build him almost any way you want to, and he still is effective. As long as they can't get to him and he can press W. Let's keep working middle. Dragon's gonna be up in a second. What kind of dragon is it? Earth. Yeah, I'd go ahead and grab this tower for sure, and then just sort of see what happens. This show hasn't read the patch notes for the last, you know, 18 patches or something. He's getting ZZ Rot to defend towers. It was an old favorite of mine from Season 6. Y'all are probably going too hard right here. It's pretty dumb. You need to call him off. I don't know. You might be able to get this one. I would get this and then go Dragon. Tell him to back up. Tell him to go get Dragon. This seems bad. Well, good thing Varys missed that. Tell him to go get Dragon. This is... I mean, y'all are getting pretty lucky they're screwing up so much. Y'all need to get this Dragon. Like, I want to ping this. Get Dragon, get this wave. They're going to get that side tower now. I guess you do have 3 of them dead at this point. Yeah, I probably would have gotten this Dragon a while ago. Gonna run you down. If they kill Cog... Yeah, exhaust him. Run. You're too close, though. You should have been about where Cog was. Okay, run, run, run. Don't turn around. Just keep running. So you turn back, and you go into basically the melee combat with him to do that. Just keep running. You're not going to slow him anyways, because he has his thing on, so your Q is not going to do anything. So that was another thing where you're getting a little too far up against dangerous opponents. So I think positioning would help out there. I would get Athene's instead of Zeke's here. I mean, I don't know. Zeke's is okay here because it is going to boost up the Cog. Yeah, I mean, Zeke's is alright here. I mean, Athene's is just going to give you more AP, and it's a lot more AP. It's like 60 or 70 more AP. And it gives you a heal on the Kog'Maw, but... like, it's better for long, sustained fights, but, you know, I guess since everything's, like, riding on this Kog'Maw, pretty much, then maybe, I guess Zeke's is alright. since the fights aren't really lasting that long.
Blue team triple kill. Ace.
Yep, this is why composition matters. I guess they surrendered or something. Why is she just... This looks like some of my games from the other night, but at least your core person is
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
your core person's in it. Alright, well, good job. That was definitely a nice comeback for sure. Yeah, Kog'Maw, very strong champ. I mean, that's composition matters. I say this all the time, right? Like, Lulu Kog'Maw is very strong. Like, if that had been a Jhin, or if that had been a, an Ashe, like, it probably would not have happened that way. You probably would not have come back. It specifically had to be something like a Mega Fed Kog'Maw, or Twitch, or Tristana. And that's about it. That could carry that hard. And you specifically had to be something like Lulu or Janna. If you had been like Braum or... I mean, Braum would have been alright there, but... I don't know. I feel like if you had been, you know, something that didn't have Ardent Sensor, that didn't have as much shielding and protection for Kog'Maw, then you wouldn't have won that either. So it's specifically a lot of that game, probably like 70% of the reason you came back was just you had really strong champions. So you had Kog'Maw, Lulu, and once Kog'Maw got that Ginsu's, it was on. Even though he was behind like 5 kills, it didn't matter because you guys had Ardent Sensor and you had all the Lulu buffs. You weren't even maxing out Whimsy early on. And you were still able to crush him. Okay, so... let's say... So yeah, you can't walk up to them and let them engage on you like that when they're level 6. You have to either go farm your jungle or tell your jungler to come down. Either tell your jungler to come down, farm their jungle, farm your jungle rather, rotate middle, just do something, that's not walk up and let them engage on you when you're not 6. So you want to cast your Whimsy on Cog as soon as he activates his, whatever it is, Bio-Arcane Barrage. yeah, as soon as he turns this on, he'll make a noise like "Rawr!" I don't know what it is in that skin, but you can hear him make a noise typically. And as soon as he does that, you need to turn it on. And the reason is this only lasts for 8 seconds, and so you want maximum uptime on this. So if you cast it immediately, you might be able to get a second Whimsy off, depending on how many points you put into it, level-wise. And then he would just have more power on it throughout more of the Bioarcane Barrage. So I think it's, you know, you still cast it on him and it was good, but just doing it a little bit faster helps. Also, that helps just kill people faster. So once he turns that on, it's business time, and then you just got to start crushing people. Oh, I didn't realize he got free bonus attack speed off of his Q. Okay. Interesting. I knew it shredded resistances. It's pretty cool. Void Ooze. Okay. What else? What else? This is a place where, and I'm thinking specifically that skirmish bottom, where you shielded the Morgana rather than offensively hitting the Orianna. So if you, and remember, if you put your shield on them, and I didn't see you do this combo much either, if you put your picks offensively on them with E, then you get a free hit with your Q, pretty much. It's really hard to miss it. You can miss occasionally, but you can put your E on them and then use your Q to finish them off, even if they run away a pretty long distance. So I think that's a particularly powerful interaction that you should have done more. So related to that, use E on allies to set up long distance Q. So if you put your E on either Pantheon or Gragas, whenever they go up, your Q actually, when it's on them, you can shoot it off of them. So you can get really, really long Q distances. I mean, you can hit people that are like 1,500 targets away because you're firing off of your ally who's maybe 800 targets ahead of you, 800 units ahead of you, and then you can fire your Q off of them. So I don't think I saw you do that much. But that's another thing, especially when Pantheon was trying to hunt down the Orianna at that one play. You did Whimsy him, and I think you even shielded him when he ran in, but you didn't use your Q off of that shield. So that can help out. Even though you only have a level 1 Q and it's not going to do that much damage, it still does something, and more importantly, it slows them by 80%. So that can be really helpful. And then related to that, yeah, so you can stay really, really far in the back and then either E to hit tanks that are attacking you or E to shield allies, and then you can throw your Q from back there to hit priority targets if you want. But yeah, you don't want to just walk up and try to Q people a lot of times in some of these endgame fights because you're going to expose yourself. Like, Lulu doesn't have that many escapes in her kit. She's pretty slow if she doesn't Whimsy herself, and you don't want to Whimsy yourself in a team fight, and you don't want to have to ult yourself in a team fight. So just hang out in the back and just shield W and just be ready if people come close to you. But overall, it was a good game. I think near the end, especially once Kog'Maw started rolling, you did a really good job playing around him. You held your ult for Kog'Maw, and then you just WE him. I think that's basically it. So yeah, I mean, I think that these were some of the big takeaways. It's just respect the level 5 and the 6. I would have rotated and picked up that dragon at that part that I was talking about instead of keep messing with that tower. Like, it worked out for you. You know, your team got a couple more kills and you did get that tower, but it was super risky. Especially when you tried to rotate and get that tier 2 after you got the mid tower. I think that was definitely a place where you want to just go down and get the free dragon. Just always try to get the free stuff. The low risk, free stuff as much as you can. And that's how you close out games. You just get all of the free things. And then you slowly like use your advantage to push into their base and get their towers. When it makes sense. And then you have to go back and shop. Like Kog'Maw probably, when he died there, you know, he probably had like 2,500 gold. I think I remember seeing him buy a hurricane like right off the bat after that. So that means he's sitting on way too much gold. So y'all should have just backed up, taken the dragon, spent that gold, and then reset, and then go pick up the tier 2 bottom. But other than that, yeah, I think just respecting level 6, figuring out ways to get around that if they're trying to zone you, just casting your W a bit faster in fights, and then just using your E, your shield plus Q interactions a bit more. Like I said, I didn't see you do that hardly at all, and maybe you didn't know that was possible to do. I don't know. Or maybe you did do it and I just didn't see it. But that's something that you definitely want to pay attention to. And then just hanging out in the back. And then just itemization and skill-wise, you know, Lulu is very, very versatile. But, you know, you do have Thunderlord Ignite on the table if you want to be more aggressive. I think you should definitely max W all the time versus anything. And then the Zeke's does make sense because you're kind of all in on that Kog'Maw at that point. But Athene's is another one if your threats are a little more diversified and you're potentially going to have longer fights. Then I think that Athene's would be more useful than Zeke's in the long run in that scenario. But Zeke's, if you're all in on one person and they're super fed and it's an 80 carry, sure, I think that's fine there. Okay, and that's going to be it. Thank you very much. As always, Dylan, I appreciate it. We are going to be seeing a few more replays from Dylan very soon, so stay tuned for that. And if you would like to see me review one of your games, I've got some links for you down here at the bottom. Dylan's obviously aware of this, but for anyone else watching, I forgot to mention too, you can access this Google Doc and timestamps in the description, so hopefully people figured that out. But I've got these links here. You can watch more videos in my coaching playlist here. I've got a Lulu guide. I've got a Lulu playlist. I am playing her a lot more lately, so I'm adding on new games to that. I've got other champion guides there. We've got Zyra, Janna, Soraka, Nami, Karma. Ton of guides. We'll be adding some more to that soon. And then if you want to become a member, that's a really cool way to support the channel and get some pretty decent rewards. If you're interested, it's just $5 a month. There's no contracts, no sign-up fees, no cancellation fees. It's just run through PayPal, a PayPal link right here, so it just takes 30 seconds to make an account. You just say that you want to do a recurring payment with me, $5 a month, and that's it. And there's no pressure on that. What you do get, you get the pride and supporting channel, a channel that you enjoy that's a bit different from most other YouTube channels out there. In terms of the in-depth analysis and hopefully sort of the pedagogy, my teaching experience that I bring to try to help people become better players. And then also you get a 10% discount on donation services. So if you want to get a coaching video, you'd get $2 off. So then it would just basically be $3 for your first month if you get that. You can access the Discord. That's super fun. We have an awesome, very welcoming, talkative community that's really cool on the Discord, so you get to join, become a part of that. You get to play with me on Viewers Night, which is every Tuesday. I play normal games all night with viewers. We have a lot of fun, with members rather. We have a lot of fun. We hang out on the Discord and just kind of take turns, try to get everybody through as much as possible that wants to play. You get to vote on a straw poll on champions that I play throughout the week. And then when Warhammer 2 comes out, you can vote on which episodes you want to see me, which faction you want to see me play with that if you're interested at all. If you have any questions, you can email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. If you want to set up a coaching session or become a member, just let me know and I'll give you access to all of that stuff after you sign up. And that's going to be it. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Have a good day.